of Birmingham. I think more than five engagements on each post. So, like I said, retweets mainly because that's what will develop the
but that feels like a tangible target to then look at and go, right, who's got close to 5? And you go, right, okay, they have, right, let's isolate them and concentrate on them. I mean, that is a sound principle to do, and I think that's fair enough. My last question, sorry, Dan. Last one was about you talked about sharing other people's blogs now and things like that, sharing and retweeting stuff. So for me, I mean, we talked about stakeholders. How would you prioritise? Like, who would you share? Who would it be?
Well, the likes of Midlands Arts Centre, they'd be high priority, high.
And what sort of posts would you look at? Because Midlands Arts Centre might be putting a post out. Do you know what sort of things they're putting out that you want to
They've got
emulate?
A large variety of things they're putting out, but you want to be looking at where they're actually getting themselves involved with the young people, which is the same thing we're doing. We actually, for a workshop that's still going on now, we use their space, don't we, for upload. So with a good relationship with them, so it's if they're running any events or workshops themselves and they're actually integrating with young people, we want to be seeing what they're doing and, like you said, emulating that to try and grow numbers, because their following compared to ours is quite large. And then on another side of it is you've got B31 Voices, who 30,000 likes on Facebook, very big and influential in the B31 area, which is where we're based. We want to be looking at the same way. Where are they actually involving themselves in the development of young people and trying to develop them, so we just either emulate them or jump on board in a way, because then relationships are so strong.
I think you're hoping that they'll sort of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing.
I think it's more than likely that, because...
It does, I mean, that does start to happen the more you do it.
I think that's, like I said, it's about building working relationships with stakeholders.
Okay, that's cool. I'm done.
I've got some questions. you briefly talked about who you're targeting. You said young people, you said the parents for the 5 to 11 company.
Yes.
Can you just give me a bit more information about what that type of person is likely to be? So let's talk about, let's say the 11 to 18-year-old kids. We've got a company going on in Norfolk. What are they likely to... What's the makeup of that demographic?
Well, essentially, it is open to anyone, as you know yourself, but we're trying to develop employability skills and trying to develop life skills in a way. As we're looking at a lot of people who need that kind of guidance in a way, or need that help to actually step up and stand out. So I don't know how really to put it in perspective, but if you look in school, they're probably going to be a lot quieter at first, and by the end of it you want them to grow as a person, and you're going to be looking at the kinds of people who will probably be coming alone and not with a group of their friends, and actually develop it through fourth wall.
Okay. How would you isolate those people? What interests you? Because I mean, on Facebook you can't put audience people who are quiet at school.
Yeah.
They're not tangible things.
Well, that's the thing. You can't really put the feeler out there for people who don't have friends and things like that, or don't have many, and that's an issue. But I think targeting the audiences in age range, and say if you start hitting that demographic and actually target the people who are struggling, so it's like you've got that age group, and then find out who are struggling through the schools and try and work out that way. I think when it's there, I think the people who need it the most will actually find it. I don't think you can knock on the door of the people themselves and get them to come, unless you already have that relationship there with them, or some kind of relationship there, which means you can go, your friend did this, or someone you know, or so on. Because I think a lot of the time, people like this, if you came bearing down on them, telling them that you want them to come to your workshop, they'd probably carry away and not come.
You could do research on your previous applicants and see what their interests are.
Oh yeah, that would.
And see what the common. So if you interviewed, I don't know how many young people attend to these things, so I'm going off numbers. You interviewed 20 people and you found out 18 of them are all into Minecraft. I'm not saying Minecraft's for loners, but I'm just saying if they're all into Minecraft, then that's something you can target. That's probably what you need to do, is actually look into who your audience are. I think Dan's raised a really good issue there, which is you're not quite sure. I mean, you can target 11 to 18-year-olds, that's great, but there's a lot of them. And you've got, that means you're targeting the 11 and 18-year-olds who are going to be professional footballers to the 11 and 18-year-olds who are mentally disabled.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big expansion of people because they all use social media.
And if you think about, if we do something in Northfield to make that area predominantly white working class, you know, how are we going to approach that demographic? Is that going to be different from if we were targeting Solihull? Will that then reflect the price of the company?
Yeah. I think you're right.
I've got more questions. So you talked about scheduling posts. What tools do you like to use for that?
Well, at the moment we're using a tool called Hootsuite, which allows you to schedule posts on both Twitter and Facebook. But there's also the likes of TweetDeck and just using Facebook's scheduling tool as it is.
Why would you use Hootsuite over TweetDeck, for example?
Because TweetDeck doesn't allow you to use Facebook, it's Twitter only, even though you can do multiple accounts. Hootsuite allows you to manage your Twitter and your Facebook, but there's some aspects to TweetDeck that are better than Hootsuite, where the actual setup and streams and the feeds themselves are a lot cleaner and a lot easier to use on TweetDeck as opposed to Hootsuite, where you can't actually get your notifications up. You split them up into retweets, likes and mentions, which is quite complicated as it is.
Okay. And you also mentioned about a follow spread. Can you just explain that and why that would be useful?
I did mention at the start and said use Manage Flitter.
What I don't...
It's a okay, yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's basically a website. No, yeah, so it's a website that says who's not following you back. It can tell you who the accounts who are following you, who are spam. They've got a high or low following ratio, which you can whittle down and go, well, I don't need to follow them, and you can get rid of them, and then you'd find relevant accounts like Mac, Hippodrome, and any kind of Stage 2 youth theatre company, which I use as an example. They're a competitor. They do work with young people in theatre, so you can actually go onto there and follow the same followers as them to grow an appropriate following in a way. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I
didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know Flitter. Flitter.
Manage Flitter. So it gives you all the ratios and everything.
Yeah, sounds like a good day.
So you was talking about engage with organisations, talk about schools, for example.
Yes.
What other organisations could you engage with that would allow you to reach that 11 to 18 age bracket?
I'm aware that there are, but I don't know on names with a lot of youth. A lot of youth groups that are around. So I don't really know. I don't know the names of any. I don't know if the YMCA works with young people at all, but
I don't know actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that young people. I know that a lot.
Are youth groups not your direct competitors though?
In a way, yeah. But if they're not enforcing theatres to do it, it's an aspect where you can actually work with them to use the people they've got and use the following they've got to develop your following by using the people who are in the situation you actually want to work with.
Yeah, you could access all the community-based. I don't know what the word is, like institutions, so churches, communities, all of which have access to families and kids.
In Northfield, Longbridge got the factory, which is like a big £6 million youth centre and things like that. So there's quite a lot of stuff going on down there.
I think a lot of the time sports used to do things like to bring young people together. So actually